Vikavolt, the Stag Beetle Pokemon, a bug and electric type. Vikavolt flies around, waiting to attack. With its large jaws, it fires gathered electrical energy at its opponent.
Warning! Charjabug's a battery providing us with energy, remarkable capability, impossible to beat. You see, we dish out 220 damage, non-GXs have a great advantage. Koko Prism, yeah, the total package with Thunder Mountain. We can manage to attack out of nowhere. Wanna hit for weakness, we don't care. Stealthy Biter protects us from despair, sledgehammers and other nightmares. With Electropower and a Choice Band, we have our master plan in the hand to watch attack teams on demand. It's more than a rogue deck, it's grind, yeah. Episode 223, Vikavolt and Charjabug. What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to episode 223 on my channel. As you know, on my channel you always get the latest competitive TCG information in town, so be sure you are subscribed and also click that little notification bell so you get notified immediately when a new video hits the channel. Okay, today we're gonna be talking about this card because at the Madison Regionals this Vikavolt deck actually did very well. So in this video we're gonna talk about Vikavolt in all its glory and we're gonna be showcasing which cards you'll be needing to make a deck with it. So Vikavolt, first of all, it's a stage 2 Pokemon, so you might think, ooh, stage 2, is that even viable? Well, yes it is, because this card can actually destroy tag team GXs. Its damage output is incredibly high, so that's why it is still viable in the current format. So it has, of course, 150 HP, which is nice. That means even Zapdos, with of course the Thunderous Assault, will be needing 3 Electropower. So with 2 Electropowers, Zapdos is able to dish out 140 damage, so he'll need a lot of Electropower, so that's already a good thing. So 150 damage is the damage the opponent will have to dish out in order to one-shot Vikavolt. We are a one-price attacker and we dish out an insane amount of damage. We also have an ability, Stealthy Body. That means if there's a stadium card in play, this Pokemon has no weakness. Which does that mean? Well, every fighting type which wants to hit for weakness will no longer be able to do that if there's a stadium in play. And typically nowadays we have Stadium War. So let's say I smack down a Thunder Mountain, the opponent smacks down another stadium card, and then it goes on and on. I know there's gonna be, of course, that Marshadow, the one from Unbroken Bonds, that sees a little bit of more play recently. Definitely in Zoroark decks, but don't worry about it too much. You have stadiums of your own. So you can get rid of your weakness. That means Baby Boswell, with of course the Sledgehammer, won't affect us too much. Also things like Lucario GX, which might pop up here and there, will no longer be a threat for us. We are gonna be kind of a bulky Pokemon, a stage 2 nevertheless, but yeah, that's all about the damage output with this guy. It has of course the Electric Cannon, which deals 120 damage, and you may discard all lightning energies attached to this Pokemon. If you do, you can dish out 100 damage more, and that means you have a damage output of 220, which means all GXs that are actually not a tag team will go down easily. You can think about Zoroark, Lycanroc, Persian, all those, even Blacephalon, Rayquaza. You can name a lot of GXs that will go down in one shot thanks to this attack. But things go even better. It also can dish out more damage thanks to Electropower, Choice Band and Shrine, which we're gonna showcase sooner or later. We of course have resistance to metal, which might come in handy, but nowadays there's not a lot of metal around since metal Pokemon are weak to fire, and a 2 retreat cost might leave us trying in the active position, but we're actually gonna be running a couple of switch cards as well because we're gonna be running a Jirachi engine. So first things first, we have of course a Vikavolt. It does need 4 energies, which might seem like a lot, but there's actually a way to go about this, which I'm gonna showcase in this video. So what you want here in this deck is of course gonna be the Charjabugs. There's a 4-4-4 line which I recommend for Vikavolt, so this is gonna be the way you're gonna be playing Vikavolt. 4-4-4, your main attacker. Why this Charjabug? Do you think, oh no, don't we need rare candy? Well, we're definitely gonna be using rare candy, but this Charjabug has an interesting ability here with battery. Once during your turn, you may attach this card from your hand, so you don't even need to evolve your little Grubbins. You just go have this in the hand, and then you can just attach it to one of your Vikavolt or Vikavolt GX as a special special energy card. This card provides 2 lightning energies while it's attached to a Pokemon. So this means that if you just have this in your hand, you can just say, well, I'm gonna use the ability, bam, you have 2 energies equipped. So that means that, yeah, this guy already has 2 energies. And then let's say we have, of course, Thunder Mountain in play, which is gonna be the stadium of choice. We need a stadium to get rid of our weakness, so why not run Thunder Mountain? Well, with Thunder Mountain and a manual attachment, boom, we get there immediately, which means you can already dish out 220 damage. So as mentioned, we're gonna be upping the damage output by a lot. Of course, there's of course my favorite card in the format, Electropower, which is good for, of course, lightning types, being able to dish out an additional 30 damage if you just smack it down during that turn. And also, there's gonna be Choice Band. I know this card is rotating soon, but if as soon as this card is rotating, be sure to run a maximum amount of Electropower. I know that a stage 2 deck doesn't have the space for a maximum amount of Electropower, but as soon as Choice Band gets rotated, just put in more Electropower or even Shrine. So let's say we have a Choice Band, we have Electropower up, and we just decide to just get rid of our Thunder Mountain because the opponent also had a stadium that we don't want to see, things like Heat Factory. Well, we can then just have another Charjabug in the hand. Very simply, and bam, we have 2 energies or even more energy, so that way we don't even need a manual lightning energy. With 2 Charjabugs, bam, out of nowhere, we will be dishing that amazing damage output, 220. And with a 220 damage output, we may discard all energy sometimes against one prize attacking Pokemon. We don't discard the Charjabug or energies, but if we're facing a tag team with Electropower and Choice Band, the damage output gets ridiculously high. With 220 plus 30, that is 250 with Electropower and stuff, you'll be blowing up every tag team around, and Shrine even takes some damage counters between turns. So that's why this deck is so good. Now you might say, well, we're gonna use the Electro Cannon here and get rid of our Charjabugs. How are we gonna get them back? Of course, there is a way to get Pokemon back from the discard pile. It's gonna be a Rescue Stretcher. Rescue Stretcher can put 1 Pokemon card from, of course, 1 Pokemon to the hand or 3 to the deck. Is a nice option, but this card gets rotated. What are we gonna do about that? Well, yeah, glad you asked. We're gonna, of course, have, Lure Ball. This is a no deck. This is the first deck that I'm actually talking about, Lure Ball. It actually lets you flip 3 coins. For each head, put an evolution Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand. And why is this good? Well, let's say in this case we have 2 Charjabugs out there in the discard pile. Well, we only need like 1 more. For example, let's say we already have 1 in the hand. We're gonna use the ability bam, I already have 2 energies. Well, after that, we're just gonna use Lure Ball and hopefully we get at least 1 heads. That's a lot of chance you get 1 heads because you can flip 3 coins and then you can put 1 of them straightly to the hand and then use the ability. So that's gonna be fantastic. Charjabugs are fantastic. We're gonna be running a 4-4-4 line of Vikavolt. And how are we gonna get our attacker up? So these are our energy acceleration. You don't need leaving a lot of energies in your deck. I think 4 lightning energies will be sufficient. 4 to 5 lightning energies together with these will be enough to last you through the game. As mentioned, we have a Rescue Stretcher to get these back, and of course Lure Ball as well. Be careful, these can also be discarded by an enhanced hammer or even a Faba to put it in the lost zone. So be careful of that. If you're not facing any Faba or enhanced hammer shenanigans, you should be fine throughout the match. The good thing is if they use enhanced hammer, you can get it back immediately with Lure Ball. So the bad thing is of course Faba. Faba is the weakness of the Charjabug because they go to the lost zone, no way of getting them back. So what else I'm gonna talk about? Other cards you will be running in this list. Of course, we have our main attacker Vikavolt. That means we're gonna be needing little Grubbins. Let's see here. I think, as mentioned, the 4-4-4 line. That means you can just get this up and rolling. And sometimes they will target 1, no problem. As soon as a couple of these Grubbins survive, you can just rely on a rare candy and just get a Vikavolt in play, as you see here. So Vikavolt, bam, will be up and rolling thanks to rare candy. That way you can skip the stage 1, leave the stage 1 in our hand, and use it as an energy accelerated method. So rare candy, I think 3 to 4 is gonna be the main key. Definitely 4, but there's of course a way to grab our rare candies. You could run, of course, Green's Exploration, but a better way would be just running Jirachi with a heavy support count like with Lillie, Erica, and Cynthia combined. So these will help out as the supporters of the deck. Also, Volkner is going to be a main strategy. Let's say you have, of course, a Vikavolt in the hand, but you don't have a rare candy. Volkner can just get that. Other way around, let's say you have a another thing in your hand. You only need 1 puzzle piece. Well, Volkner can get either an Ultra Ball or a rare candy, depending on what you have in your hand to, of course, secure your Vikavolt being in play. So that is going to be the main way. These are the supporters. Also, Guzma is kind of optional. You could be running Guzma, but since this is a one price attacking deck, anything in the active position we can KO. So we don't even mind too much, but there's also a way, if you don't want to be running Guzma because you don't have the space for it, you could also be running Counter Catcher. Counter Catcher will target something if you're behind. An early game, one of your Grubbin or maybe Jirachi will see the discard pile, so that's also a way to just target the opponent's bench. And later, of course, when the rotation hits, you could rely on Custom Catcher. So that's that. So get, of course, your rare candies on board, get your Grubbins, your Jirachis. What other Pokemon could we include in this list? Of course, if we're talking about lightning decks, our main thing that comes to mind is Koko Prism Star. Even though you won't be running a lot of lightning energies, since you'll be running the Volkner engine, you'll be getting, of course, lightning energies from the deck immediately. And also, if they're in the discard pile, you can get them back with Dance of the Ancients thanks to Tapu Koko Prism Star. This opens up a door that you can just have energy acceleration from the discard pile to your bench Pokemon. There we go. Then you can just straightly go with a lot of energy acceleration, because if you have a Charjabug as well, you have lots of ways to get, of course, energies onto your Pokemon. So another Pokemon you might think about is the Dedenne-GX. The Dedenne-GX is interesting since we are gonna, of course, be running Lure Ball. That means everything we discard of evolution Pokemon we can get back. That also includes Vikavolt itself. So early game, we try to get our setup Lillie for 8 and whatever, and just get our Grubbin on the bench and everything we want. And then after that, just get out your Dedenne, discard your hand, draw 6 new cards, and then you can just go really quickly. Definitely get your rare candies, get multiple Vikavolts out. If you have a Lure Ball, you can even get everything back of evolution Pokemon from the discard. And pre-rotation, we of course have a Rescue Stretcher. If you don't want to rely on a GX Pokemon, I know some people don't like to be running GXs because of course they give up 2 prize cards. There's another way, but it's a little bit more clunky. It's gonna be Zipstrika. This is a stage 1 Pokemon. We're already running a stage 2, so I think it's a little bit risky. I know this card only gives up 1 prize card, but Sprint, you can do that every single turn. That means the Dedenne only works 1 time. Zipstrika, you can do that every single turn. Discard your hand, draw 4 cards. So the choice is up to you which draw engine you prefer. And then some tech options. You could, of course, have Vikavolt as your main attacker and just be done with it. A lot of Jirachis and that's your deck. But you could also be running like Zapdos, since of course you'll be running things like Switch and Escape Rope and all that stuff, even Escape Board. You could be running Zapdos. Zapdos also needs a lightning energy, can target, of course, weak, fragile Pokemon early game. Let's say the opponent starts with a lone Zorua. That way you don't have to worry about, oh boy, I'm not gonna get a KO this turn. You can just rely on Zapdos. If you're running a lot of Switch cards, you'll be just switching your active, and then bam, Zapdos can get that early KO while you set up on the bench with your Grubbins, eventually turn into Vikavolt. That is an option. And then in every lightning deck, before rotation, Koko GX is always an option. Sometimes you don't have a Vikavolt out and you just have lightning energies in play. Well, no problem, Koko GX flies to the active position, takes all the lightning energies, and boom, out of nowhere you can use Tapu Thunder GX, which combined with Choice Band, Shrine, and even Electropower will also get KOs on tag teams. This is also optional, by the way. So, now that we selected our supporters, we know which Pokemon we might be running in a deck like this. We are just have to think about what items we want. Of course, I already talked about Electropower for the damage output, Rare Candy for, of course, establishing your Vikavolt, and of course Lure Ball to get, of course, your evolutions back. Other trainer cards you might think about are, of course, the switching cards I mentioned here. That's going to be Escape Rope, Switch, and of course a skateboard. So skateboard is equipped typically on a Jirachi, so that way you have, of course, free retreat. After you've used the Stellar Wish, you fall asleep, but you can still retreat thanks to a skateboard. And an easy thing here is if you have Jirachi out, you don't have to worry about getting let loose or judged in the game, because with Stellar Wish you of course have access to your top 5 cards, and sometimes there's a supporter in there. And of course running Switch and Escape Rope will make it easier to get out of the active position. Not only that, if you're typically running a 1 copy of Zapdos, you also have an edge. If you switch around, Zapdos can also take quite a number of damage if you don't get out a Vikavolt. Sometimes rare candies might be pricey, you have those games. Stage 2s are still a little bit clunky, but this deck actually is very good. We've seen it perform very well at the Madison Regionals. Will we see it more often? Who knows, but I'm here to tell you the deal about this deck. That's what the channel is all about. So, the last thing I wanted to talk about, of course, is your ball engines. Of course, these are gonna be the way we are gonna have Nazball, 4 copies of that, and then 4 copies of Ultra Ball. after the rotation takes place, you might think, oh no, my deck falls apart, what now? Don't worry about it too much. Replace Nesball with Netball. I know you cannot get Jirachi of that. Maybe you should be including your count of Jirachi, but you can always grab a Grubbin. And grabbing a Grubbin with Netball is also good. That way you can just establish them, and then late game Ultra Ball. Hopefully Ultra Ball gets reprinted. If Ultra Ball gets not reprinted, you're gonna have to be running a lot of Dedenne or whatever to just secure that you have things to work with. Of course, heavy Dedenne-GX count with Lure Ball, and of course Netball will still do the trick if you want to get your stuff out after the rotation. And the last card on my list I want to talk about is Field Blower. Field Blower is going to be a key part pre-rotation, because of course a lot of people are running Spell Tag. Think about this annoying wheezing decks. Also people are still running that Shedinja control deck, that way you can blow off some of those Shedinjas. And even things like Wishful Baton are seeing a lot of play in things like Arcanine decks, Charizard Reshiram decks, Babel Cephalon, Quagsire, etc. So one copy of Field Blower will help you out against those. And that is it for the deck analysis video with Vikavolt. If you want a deck list, it'll be in the description below. And also I'm interested in your opinion about Vikavolt. I do think it has a lot of potential, definitely when tag team GX decks see an increase in play. We already see that Reshizard and Pikarom are tearing up the format. So does this deck have a space in the meta right now? I think the answer of that is yes, but I'm curious to hear what you think about this. Anyhow, this was Zapdos TCG with another episode on the channel. If you enjoyed it, be sure to demolish the like button, subscribe for more Pokemon TCG content on a weekly basis, and now we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay fresh. Peace.
If you wanna go and test the deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in my brain. Where is